Welcome, dear viewers, once again in this program brought to you by Mpuma Kapa Television in collaboration with Amaqhawe Ethu Foundation. And thank you once again, dear viewers, for allowing us into your sitting rooms. I'm Lennox Glass saying, once we were warriors. We still have those leaders who led us against enemy tear gases and bullets. Let us remind you by showing you this short clip so that you understand what I'm talking about.
FECO is an organization, and I've been elected to speak what FECO wants. What they want from me, they can pack up and get out. I'm going to say what I want to say. And I say it on behalf of the youth, and I'm going to say they can take us to jail. Monday is the D-Day. We want fire in town on Monday. We want fire down on Monday. We want fire down on Monday. We want fire in a box of matches on Monday. We want fire in a Cadbury on Monday. We want fire the ice creams on Monday. We are going to boycott them on Monday. Monday is a great day for us. Monday is a great day for us. We are going to boycott them. We are going to boycott them. We want to know why these killings.
Well, these leaders must come and take their rightful places. Let us knock at their doors and get them to start where they left in the 80s. These criminals are so daring now. They are publicly marketing their criminal activities. This cannot be allowed. Last week, we hosted Bishop Leleki on this very program talking about the very issue of criminality. The feedback from Abali, Base Gqeberha, is so positive. Just listen to them.
So I think the best solution would be to stand as a community together, not necessarily to fight crime and use mob justice. Not that I'm encouraging vigilantism. No, I'm not. What I am saying is at least stand as a community. You know, I would also say use technology, cameras in neighborhoods. Like in Richmond Hill, I see right now what they're using is they're implementing an SRA system where a lot of the private sectors in the private sectors, when it comes to security, they going around in communities and installing, with their permission, cameras so that they can catch these guys on guard when they are committing the crime. All right, the logical conclusion would be to depend on the police for safety, but as they declared a couple of years ago that they're unable to publicly declare that they're unable to protect our community. So I would say stand together as a community, and not I'm encouraging mob justice. What I am saying is similar to what Richmond Hill is doing, where private companies are taking permission from the communities, and they getting cameras installed and so that they're able to catch their predators while they do committing the crime. So I would say the only logical conclusion would be stand as a community together.
Personally, I wouldn't really say the main problem is the amount of staff in the police, but mostly a lack of support for the younger generation, considering the whole point of the high crime rate is because the younger people can't find a way out of the situation they find themselves in. So I would say the best option would be trying to support the youth, maybe in like some sort of counseling programs, or maybe like a sports center or something like that, to increase the productivity of the youth before they turn to that path.
Molo Bishop ninjani bawo. Ndifuna ukuthi ivakele imithandazo yenu just apha ngakum endlini. Apha eFerguson ngiqaza ngene singaphi kubanjwe ezintwana pha zi6 mapolisa azilelise phansi bezi hijacka imoto.
Abarobhi baphinde barobha kulaa ndawo benithandaza kuyo, bafunyene kugcwele amapolisa ngoku. abahlali baphezu kwabo abantu balaliswe phansi imithandazo yenu ntombazane ivakele. Siva kabuhlungu nje ke thina ukuba ngaba singakhange siyazi, ingakhange iviwe. Basheke abahlali balapha besitsho besithi befanele siphathi. Kubuhlungu nje ubona abanye bezolwela thina but thina singekho emlweni. Kodwa ke siyabulela nontombi, siyabulela kakhulu. Phaa singaphi kulaa ndaba endithi hayi ugcwele amapolisa afunyenwa abarobhi abathile.
Well, dear viewers, today we host one of those leaders whose leadership echoed the entire country in the early 80s. We are going to engage him regarding his thoughts on how to end this senseless crime in our towns. We do this in honor of those who died for us to be free today. Welcome, Mr. Mkhuseli Jack, in our program, and thank you very much for giving us the gift of time.
Thank you very much, Tivelas. Thank you.
Mr. Jack, if you may allow me to address you as Kuska for the purposes of this program, because I feel Mr. Mkhuseli Jack is going to take a great deal of your time. Do you allow me to address you as Kuska?
Yes, of course. You gave that name, use it. It's yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Kusta, it's bad, my friend. It's very, very bad. At some point, our area was called Friendly City. What happened? What happened to that? What do you think happened? Please share with us your views.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to me on this platform, Yamakawe, and also to yourselves. And I greet also the viewers who are watching this. I view this opportunity really highly. Now, you ask what has happened to Nelson Mandela, as it is called today, as opposed to what the people knew what it was. Well, this area was actually the benchmark of excellency by oppressed people, because, as you know, Port Elizabeth was distinguishable from other townships in terms of the better living standards of the people here, but that was fueled by the existence of the motor industry and the factories that were so strong, that were employing thousands and thousands of people. But over the years, due to a number of reasons, some of them were political, that led to the slow decline of that industrial base and shedding a lot of jobs away. That combined with later on, after freedom, the entrance into the City Hall of leadership that was not up to the task, and that was mostly highly politicized and recklessly put upon the people of Nelson Mandela. And these people really, they mess up the city administration and the political setup. As a result, the mismanagement became the order of the day. And that trickled down to impact on everybody working in the municipality to not give the full to it. If so-and-so does something wrong and I could use politicians to protect me when I do something, so why would I have to do what I have to do? And slowly the setup started to decay. What you see now is really, really a situation where it is so pathetic to the extent that I do not think that any official in the metro needs to do anything more than what Bailey is doing, because, I mean, they can't see the reason for that. First of all, if somebody is committing a crime or transgress or misbehave, he is guaranteed that can just go and whisper in the ears of some political clerk and is protected. Now, it has reached a point whereby people are saying, why must I do anything more? Because I annoy those who are in power around me if I do the right thing. And if I'm going to complain about the wrongdoing of others, I'm just going to complicate my life. So what else can I do? If I can't beat them, let me keep them. So the metro is in the current state.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kusta, for that background. You invoked the name of the community or the people. It is to tell the truth when we say the community are fed up of criminal activities. They are unable to do what they used to do. They feel they cannot wait until the politicians do the right thing. They say, let's end this criminality or the criminal activities now. Now, I want to get a sense from you if you agree that we do not have to wait until the politicians get to be organized for us to solve the crime. What needs to be done right now to end this senseless criminal activities in Gqeberha? What needs to happen?
Yeah, I think it's important to start, let's put aside what we expect the politicians to do. Let us, first of all, we have to rely on the trust that the people must have in the police services, all right? Because that is the beginning. And if we trust the police, we work with the police together with them. We talked about petty crime. Okay, let's not talk about the sophisticated crime because that's a different level. And unfortunately, a lot to talk about that is to delude ourselves, simply because what is happening at that level has an impact on the lower levels of crime, like petty crime. But for purposes of what can be done now, is this that I think the people must just trust the police. The people must form groups in their areas to discuss how to handle the crime. And on top of such meetings, they must put people that knows a little bit about crime. You will find somebody in the community who has paid attention, who can give good advice. And we do that across all the areas where we stay. And then we sit down, we work out a plan how we are going to protect our communities and how we are going to fight crime. Number one, we are going to report every little bit of crime that is happening. When a criminal offense is committed, go and report it at the police station so that a case can be opened. Now, that is not reporting an incident for purposes of insurance. That can be done, that's a separate issue. But I'm talking about go and report it as a case here. And then when you do that, it empowers the police station and the commissioner and so on to be able to speak to those above them and say to them, look the statistics that we have. The trend of the crime, when it happens, on which days, at what times. In that way, you manage to give them something to work on, so that it's not a guesswork in the crime. If you notice now, you'll find that you don't see a lot of the kind of crime that we used to see when I arrived in Port Elizabeth, when people stab each other, stabbings and so on. These are totally strange, seemingly economically, socially driven kind of criminal activities, which are more to do with trying to gain materials or something from the public. So doing that, then the police will be empowered to deal with the people, and the community will unite in the society by rooting out the criminals who operate in their areas. And so if you do that, in my view, it's a first start for the community to do that. We will be able to eliminate crime.
In fact, maybe at this point, Kusta, it will be fair to rank or to scale the level of crime in our particular area, which is Nelson Mandela Metro. Do you think it will be fair to rank or place it somewhere at the podium position in terms of crime, our Nelson Mandela? If there was a trophy contested by the entire country, do you think Nelson Mandela Metro will get away with a trophy or two? I'm trying to get a sense, where do you position the level of crime in Nelson Mandela Metro?
Well, the thing is, yes, Nelson Mandela features top at this point in time for a number. Remember, I painted a good picture of economic sort of comfort for people, even in dark days of apartheid, and that reduced the level of crime. Now this now it's the opposite. Nelson Mandela economically at the moment is in a big trouble, and the people are scared also now. So as a result of that, that is going to fuel crime quicker than it would have otherwise, because the people foresee that if this happened, this is going to happen. And many of the things that they thought were not going to happen have already happened. So now Abantu, they feel like, there's no other way now. Crime is going to be the only that's it. So hence Nelson Mandela have become now a den of all manner of dangerous criminals who are marauding and terrorizing the community. So, like I said, it's economically driven crime by these petty criminals. That's the way, because let me tell you, the youth here, it's in the vicinity of 50% that is unemployed. In real terms, not the statistics that sometimes were given. You will see that. Not only that, but the mostly young males between 21, let's say 18 to 35 and 40 are unemployed. I mean, those people, you see them, they are roaming in the streets, they are doing nothing. And the resentment and the anger that is building in them is what we see in the actions that are happening around here. So Nelson Mandela, and also there is no signal from the political that there's hope coming, a credible hope. There might be talk, but people have listened to that so many times now, they believe we are going nowhere, this is not going to change. Hence Port Elizabeth will be easily taken.
You see, Kusta, you see, Kusta, the impact of crime at times can be attributed to exactly what we are talking about, the lack of economic opportunities, because the investors, they tend to disinvest in a crime infested area. That's why I was saying, let's address crime, because propensity exists that if it's a crime-less setup, investors will come. I know I will give you a minute or two to respond to this before we go for a short break. I'm saying, yes, you have unemployment and people resort to crime. People are starving, people resort to crime. But by those activities, they are limiting the possibilities of investments. So I would like you to make an input on this, but I can see we do not have time. After the break, Kusta, I would like us to talk about this. Yes, we must criticize you guys, the politicians, but the youth in South Africa cannot say, because they are not giving us jobs, therefore we're going to rob the bank. But hold that thought. Let's go to a short break because we must pay the rent. Well, welcome back, dear viewers, in our second segment of the program. Kusta, before we took a short break, we were talking about the significance of not waiting until the politicians and everybody who is a leader start being fined and do the right thing. We cannot wait for that as communities to deal with criminals, because in the meantime, people are dying. And people are saying, we are sick and tired. We cannot continue wearing the same faces of grief every weekend when we bury our loved ones. Yes, the politicians must do their thing, but the work to fight against these criminal activities must go on parallel. So what are your thoughts against this assertion?
Yeah, okokuqala, I think into yoba ndithi obu bundlobongela nobusela nobugewu buphenjelelwa yimeko yezoqoqosho nokutsala nzima kwabantu, loo nto ayonyani ngokupheleleyo ukuba singayishiya kuloo ndawo. Kuyafuneka siyithethe into yokubana abantu bayakwazi ukutsala nzima but kungabikho ubusela obunje. Umzekelo, uba unoqabela apha eZimbabwe, uyawufumanisa into yoba iZimbabwe, bendithetha namanye amadoda ngokutsha nje asuka phaya, wabuza imeko iyaphucuka naphaya, athi imbi iye ibambi ngokukodwa kunokuba yayinjalo. But ngelo xesha mna ndagqibela eZimbabwe inoba mhlawumbi about 15 years eyadlulayo, imeko yayimbi nyhani, kodwa kwangekho busela phaya. Yayingaziwa into yoba umntu unobulala umntu, umbulalele ifowuni yakhe, umbulalele uba makakunike umakhulu makakuxulele kwinantsi kwindodla yakhe ngale nto ye-extortion yenzekayo. Zonke ezo nto azikho even namhlanje. So ndizama ukuthi akukho nto ethethelela le nto iqhubekayo. Njengoba ndisitsho ke, okunye kukokubana ubundlobongela obu buthibaza abatyalizimali nabantu abanamashishini ngamandla. Loo nto ibangele into yobana abantu bafumanise into yoba akukho bulumko ekucingeni into yoba ungaza kwenza imali okanye uqhube ushishini lwakho ngempumelelo apha eNelson Mandela okanye apha eMzantsi Afrika. Njengoba ubona uba iNelson Mandela buyijongile ngoku izawuba yindawo nje yokugcina izinto eziprodyuswe kwamanye amazwe. Uyazibona ii-warehouses uba ninzi kwazo, iifactory ngoku zonke zisetyenziselwa ukwamkela ii-imports, ezinto zithengwa kwamanye amazwe. Yonke loo nto leyo ke ikhuphela abantu bethu ngaphandle yonke le mihla. So kufuneka ke ngeso sizathu ingxamisekile into yokubana abasemagunyeni bakhawulezise ukuguqula isimo nokuguqula actually even their own behavior, because le nto lena yokuba ubusela bungakwazi ulawuleka ngoku isukela kwinto yokubana amasela anenkolo yento yokubana singamasela sonke. Kunjalo ke kungekho mntu ukwaziyo uphuma yedwa acace uba ingakumbi umntu osentloko abonise into yokuba ubusela ubuthiye egazini kwaye uzabuncothula neengcambu. Uyabona ke ubuthetha ngalaa nto ndiyayazi uba ayimnandanga kubantu, ingakumbi kula masela athanda uluqulu kubhode wenzekayo kweli lizwe, into yoba sithethe ngezinto zokubana sasenza njani nangaphambili. Isizathu sokuba sasinengxaki ezimbini apha bunokuqwalasela ezaguqula imeko ngokukhawuleza kulo lonke loMzantsi Afrika. Yayinto yokubana uqala kwethu ukulwa namabhulu phaa ngo-1984-85, kodwa ngo-85 ngoMatshi ka-1985 yabakho imigulukudu eyayifuna ukuthatha le opportunity yenze into zayo. Sayicebisa into mayahlukane nalo mkhuba, kungenjalo izawuhlangana nembila zithutha. Ngokwenene yenzeka loo nto ngokukhawuleza epakeni phaya, kwatshiswa amasela amahlanu uba ndiphazame, on top of a pile of fire. From that time uyotsho ngo-1990 khaye siphinde sibe nemigulukudu abephazamisana nabantu. Equally amabhulu nawo uba uzayibona le tape le video uyidlalayo abulala abantu bethu nje kungekho ngendlela emanyumnyezi phaya kulaa bhari yaseNantsika le andiyazi uba kuthiwa yamatomelele ilapha, ya kwabulawa abafana bethu phaa ngaseWilson Stadium. I-reaction yethu ebantwini bethu, we spoke with the people after we analyzed with them i-situation esikuyo, and then yatshintsha isimo sathi sizawulwa ke ngoku because sibakhalelanga nabo bantu iitshomi zabo ezinkulu nezaphesheya kolwandle nabanina. This is a war against us. We are going to take the challenge, and we took it. As you know, South Africa was never going to be the same again. Now apho ndiyakhona ndiya kwinto ethi ii-leaders xana zingaqondakali maziyilibali into yobana singakwazi ukuyilungisa le meko. Akufunekanga iinkokho ezithandabuzeke ebantwini ngento eziyithethayo. If buthi makwenzeke le nto, loo nto leyo kuyenza ngantoni? Ngokuba usebenzisane naba bantu bakhokhelayo, nithethe into enye, nityiwa into enye, nifuna ulungisa into enye, nithetha into niyenze ngokufanayo and nibone uba niyayenza le nto niyithethayo kwaye niyakholelwa kuyo. Ngolo hlobo abantu ke ngoku banibuyekeza nge-trust ne-loyalty because you show them respect. That is the only way that leadership can win. I-leadership engabakhathalanga abantu, ejongene neziqu zayo nje, abantu bayinto nje, akusoze kwazi umameleka. That is why kuzo zonke izinto zithethwayo amasela ney'ntonto nemigulukudu ithi hayi bathetha nje bayeke wena masiqhube qhuba. Uthi omnye ukho uwoyikisa abasela ephezulu uthi heyi bekane ezo zinto zandidubula, kuthiwa isela liyapenika, kuthiwa elinye lithi no, hey wena hamba yaxoka lo mntu akanagani. You know, that is how brazen the criminals are, ukuthi zi-analyzile into yokubana aba bethu ngonomgogwana iinkokheli zithetha nje zingamagwala nazo, and ibe wesingakhodwa emnandi njengabenzi bobubi njengento yoba bakurhuqele kwedaka kuthiwe hayi nawe Lennox, uLennox uyatya naye, uLennox uyaba naye. There must be no such doubt about leadership. Leadership must never find itself in that space. That is why we find ourselves in this problem. Yabona ke ngoku kamnandi ke ngoku wonke umntu ngoku ume ngenzwane ngoku kule meko ye-crime. Andixela ukuxelela uzawubona izinto zawujika and ndinethemba loba zizawujika simply because everybody now, as never before, okungathi yimeko yeNantsika yelaa xesha u-P.W. Botha when he declared war against us, we responded. Yabona, we responded to that. So that's what the people are taking the challenge, Yamasela, right back to their corner now. and uzawubona ke ngoku apho uba zizawuzilunga izinto.
What I like about what you have summarized, Kusta, again, for the benefit of the viewers of Mpuma Kapa who do not necessarily understand the language, you see this platform, Mpuma Kapa, is followed and viewed not only in South Africa, across the years. So I love what you are doing to take care of those who speak that particular language. But let me try and summarize what you have just said. You will help me if there are certain things that are missing for the benefit of our colleagues, even in the northern areas. I like the part where you are saying, yes, we acknowledge people are hungry, people do not have work, but that is not enough for people to resort in these criminal activities. For instance, up north, some of our neighboring countries, the situation is the same, if it's not worse. But the people over there do not do half the things that you see happening here in South Africa. So it's good. Let's fight for all these things that we want to fight for. But again, let's fight against the criminal elements, because one of the impacts that we have mentioned that is created by these criminal activities, those people who wanted to invest their businesses here in Gqeberha or anywhere, once they get the sense of this instability, that anytime people can come and kick open the doors of your company and take anything and everything that is there, even I will never consider investing in a place like that. What does that mean? It means the opportunity or chances of getting a job there are minus without that particular company. I'm very, very happy with that reflection. And two, you are right again. There was a point in time, these up to no good elements were there even long before 1994. But the activists of the time warned them, if you do not stop this, you will never like what will happen to you. And indeed, we saw images that we're not very proud of talking about now, where people were roasted alive, really. And we're not proud about that. We're very, very happy about that, that you have reflected. It must register something to those who continue to steal and to kill our people. Costa, last week, I think around the 24th of July, we saw our Bishop Leleki, praying, in these anti-crime marches, that please, let's stop these criminal activities. He really prayed so hard. Our bishop really prayed so hard, Kusta, and we are told, as a result of those prayers, some of the people tried to continue as if nothing has happened, and they were arrested, and the community dealt with them. But the sense I'm trying to get from you, Kusta, do you think praying only is enough to get these criminal people to repent? Do you think praying enough is enough? Praying, yeah.
Well, actually, I had to apologize to that great bishop of mine, because I disappointed him this time, because yazi even I know now I can bite on something and never stop. But even people like myself, at certain times, you feel like you're imposing yourself, you want to withdraw, and do to know, man, which is the worst thing that a person can do. send it drive while
Yes.
I know that it's so wrong to do that. Okoba ndiske ndibuye ndiyozihlalela pha endlini ndifunde incwadi ndidlale igolf ndithini. That is just so wrong ukwenza into enjalo. I did apologize to Bishop why I didn't join him this time. Did Bishop, you know what? I have been talking about these crimes for so many years and it took one to extend that sometimes even nam lendiyandityhafisa. But the bishop, of course, encouraged me ukuthi enforce lento ndiyaziyo nam yentoba doing good is not an easy exercise at any given time. If you're gonna do good, you're gonna go through that fire. So walk on. Yeah, I would say that yes. Look, the church. Elishwa kule mihla sikuyo ngoku into yobana zininzi gqithi icawa yabo, ezinye zazo noko ziyathandabuzeka kwaye ke ngamanye amaxesha nezinto ezizenzayo zikwafana zibabeka kwinto bangakwazi ukuba beme nabo njengalantu bendithetha nge-politicians okanye i-leaders ezizifumana nazo zi-compromise kube nzima for them to deal with this thing and to be listened to by people. But kodwa ke zikhona ityalike nabantu betyalike nabantu abaninzi ekuhlaleni abasoloke besenza izinto ngezinto. Bakhona oozukile emadikane, bakhona people are trying to do something all over, even in the northern areas. People must be supported in those efforts. It's not an easy job. Like I say, when you do something right, immediately people label you in order to discourage you not to do it. But people must keep on supporting prayers of the church and the church standing up and speaking in the pulpit strongly about crime. It is going to work. And it has always, the church got a ready-made constituency every day. So if it repeats the message and it sees the behavior of the leadership at the top is changing, I can tell you we're going to overcome this problem and get our country safe and get our people secured. If we do that, we're going to attract people to put money into our city, and then we will go back to the normal life that we fought so hard for. Now, okwangoku uphuncukile loo nto leyo, but kodwa it can be caught again. We can catch it and get going.
Wow. Kusta, it is to tell the truth when you say we do not hate the criminals. These are our brothers and sisters, but we hate their activities.
No. Look, Mamela, criminals. I'm surprised that when I come across these younger comrades today, they haven't been given any education on the behavior and the destructive behavior of what is called the lumpen proletariat in Marxist jargon. Now, lumpen proletariat refers to the scums of society, the people who are a nuisance, abapokai. Now, you have to understand that the criminals are operating for something. They are not operating on a principle. So that is why I can't understand why can't we root them out, because it is not because they believe in something other than material gain, which is anyway something that is very perishable. You can never be rich, you can't live for a stretch of 5 years with proceeds of crime. If you steal something, you're gonna lose it so quickly, and you're gonna be miserable, and you're gonna put your life into danger and trouble for the rest of your life, and you're gonna shame your family. There's nothing attractive about crime, and therefore it is easy to dislodge criminals. Yeah, that is why I don't understand why can't government just get on and deal with the criminals and root them out, and especially starting with their bosses, because it's not going to help to think that you're going to deal with the smaller criminals when you leave the top criminals comfortable and sipping champagne with the leaders at the top. It's not going to work. You're going to go to them and root them out, and then in that way, criminals will move away. Because they cannot be proud. You can't suffer for something you are not proud of. But if they know there's no suffering, then that is why you are going to see them expanding the way they have done. Yabo. So you are correct. These are our families. These are our brothers and sisters. We shouldn't be doing this. We should be wishing to hear that, oh, Ubani is a fully fledged working person, working family, the family man. He got children, send his children to the school of his choice, goes to holidays, goes to site visits on the mountains, on all our game farms and things like that. That is what we want for our family. Not we are going to dismiss them as a lumpen proletariat, scums of society. They should never be a scum of society. But if we allow them, if there is no price to pay, then they are going to spawn into big numbers.
Spot on, Kusta. You are so right. We are so right, Kusta. Kusta, in addition to join Abu Bishop Betu, who have declared war against criminal activities. I would like to get a sense from you, Kusta, because we are from a particular generation, and some of your comrades, those ones that you shared the trenches with, are still there. I would like to get a sense from you, in addition of that we believe we are going to do, to join the bishop when they march. Should the people of Gqeberha expect you to do something by way of mobilizing your yesteryear comrades? Because they're still there. Some of them still very committed as well. These are the people who've never stole a cent, because they were never given a chance to serve in the new government, but they're still committed.
Yeah.
Do you see time where you might go and work with them to do your part?
Well, I'm a pragmatist. I believe in action, in implementation of whatever is decided. And I know my comrades, most of the comrades anyway, that serves with us, and I'm always proud to look at the statistics. It's rare to find a person who was a member of the youth organizations or the circles that I was in, found doing these wrong things. Most of them, those who rose in government, they rose with pride and honor and dignity and integrity, for that matter. So even those who are not in government, I know we speak all the time. We have had differences of opinions in terms of sometimes ideology and all that, but that's what it was there, but we work all together. Even today, myself, I will always praise and support anything that takes South Africa forward. I'm not a party ideologue of anything. I've never been one, and I will never be one, and I don't want to, because I believe that I have to be myself, you have to be yourself. The combination of the two of us in our diverse ways is what will bring strength to our country. And therefore, any action that will be taken, I will talk to anyone who is prepared to contribute towards that. And I believe that there's a lot of people who want to assist in conscientizing. That's all what we can do. Look, we are not fighters now. Don't make the mistake that believe that an old man like me can run around, even if I were to be given a chance with an AK-47. You can't. That is done by people at the correct ages. But where we are now is to just to speak out and to point the direction, even if we are misunderstood at that point in time. Very soon, the people will realize that we were correct. I am very happy to say to you, I have spoken to every clergy in this metro, and even those at national level, and telling them that let's do something about this. And from time to time, people got disrupted. I have my own experiences how a great project, which we were doing here in about 14 years ago, tried to stop the killings, but that still, it worked because we got people, but we must just unfortunately keep on going. This is our country. This is our city. This is our people. We can't do anything else. We can't go and order people from America, from Japan, and say, we want to make good people out of you. We have to make good people out of ourselves.
Yes, that's so great, very profound. Kusta, people are watching this program. What would you like them to feel after watching this program? What would you like them to think after watching this program as a parting note?
No, I want just to say that, look, I mean, we got a lot of problems. We got vandalism, we got alcohol abuse, we got gender-based violence, we got corruption, we got everything. But there's nothing that is going to mesmerize our people more than the petty crime, especially things like extortion, kidnappings, hijackings, killings, etc., etc. So, but the people must be hopeful that there is going to come somebody. We must just listen to the people. We mustn't say, oh, no, it's the same thing. Just give every person who comes. If tomorrow, if Bishop Leleki comes and is talking to the people, give him the benefit of the doubt and support him. After all, that bishop is not a coward to start with. I know him. He stayed in those prison cells with us when he was young. He never walked away from the people. He has been part of them, and he is no stranger. He has been committed to what was. Let's support that. Let's support the actions of each and every good South African, good person who wants us to move forward. That's what patriotism is all about. It is about the country and people. If we can know that and see patriotism is about our people, it's about our children getting education. Once they get education, they get jobs. Once they get jobs, they look after their families, they look after their elders, they improve their life, their family lives. That is what patriotism is all about. So it is going to happen, and it must happen. It starts with you. As little as you think into your contribution it is, you don't know what impact it will have. Remember, during the consumer boycott, what we used to say, we said to the people, if you cannot fight, you can't go to the rallies, you can't do this, you are not brave, the only thing you could do, just don't buy. Even if uko chapis okanye bubble gum, don't buy it. And then everybody said, okay, fine. I can't go and sing, I can't go and speak, I cannot do this, but what can I do? The little I could do, let me listen to the leaders, what are they saying? And we made options for people. Even now we are saying so. You don't have to go and confront criminals. And you can only clean around your house, because that's another thing. If is dirty around your house, you attract criminals. That is where they are going to come. Clean your yard, clean your place, take the things that obscures your house away, and then you will see small things like that. You don't have to go Kusta Jack, you're provoking. Just leave them. Just deal with the little thing that you can deal with. I can tell you that what you are doing is going to make the difference and will liberate us and will put us on track back to where we ought to be. We are going to enjoy the freedom that our people fought for. Yes, it's going nowhere. Just be patient. Just do the little that you can do.
Well, dear viewers, on that positive note of freedom, we've come to the end of our program. Let's make a date again next week, same time, same channel, when we'll bring you another program. The voice is wide and loud. Let's act in unity and as one. Let's engage the criminals in united mass action. From me, Lennox Class, it's good night.